Hello and welcome to our first LinkedIn audio event, first of many, let me add. Um, Brought to you by Sportskeeda, Business of Sports, and sportscourses.com. I'm Arup Sons, and our topic for this evening is running for good, the philanthropic power of marathons. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers with us in alphabetical order. Arti Kakatkar, VP Procam International, been with them for over 2 decades. Gautam CB, Chief Operating Officer at Healthcare Global, and has completed 5 world marathon majors. Gautam, we'll try and wrap up soon so you can continue your training. George Aikara, Chief Executive Officer at United Way, Mumbai. Manisha Khosla Sinha, MD and Head Corporate Social Responsibility, Brand and Communications, India at BNP Paribas. And Sudhir, hopefully he's able to join us, but Sudhir Shenoy, he was the Senior Vice President at Equate Petrochemical Company. Thank you all, our speakers, for taking the time out, and to all of you listening in. We've scheduled 30 minutes, so let's jump right into it. Manisha, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind. Give us a few examples of some social and economic impacts of philanthropic uh, involvement in marathons that you have been part of.
Thank you, Arup. Firstly, thank you for having me here. It's a great privilege to be part of this group and talking on a topic which is very important and I think very dear to me. So my running, and also combining philanthropy with it started at the Tata Mumbai Marathon a few years ago. And the most recent one has been at the TCS World 10K in Bangalore. For me, it's really been about causes which I can identify with, and also that one is associated with in both personal and professional capacity. So one of the NGOs that I truly very strongly relate to is Bhumi, and my fundraising for them, was there at Bangalore. And coming back to our topic, which is the philanthropic power, I've truly seen in this journey that when you identify with the cause, and then you can actually convince your network and your group of people to truly buy in and hence contribute to that cause. So that would be my two bits on this.
No, amazing, George. I'm gonna segue to you. You've been pretty much at the center, and for those listeners in, of course, you're on LinkedIn. You have access to all of their profiles. You'll see some wonderful work in this space. George, why does fundraising go hand in hand with running at a marathon? And of course, you've been part of raising multiple crores with fantastic causes. Please throw some light on that and tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Thanks, Arup, and thanks for having me here. There is a short answer and a long answer for that.
Either works.
So,
Midway is good.
okay, so at a fundamental level, I think all human beings try to be better, whether it is fitness, intellect, or spiritually. And fitness leads to activities like running. Intellect is, of course, learning, and spiritually, maybe giving. And at the TMM, or my association with the TMM for the past 13 years has been with building the philanthropic platform for the event. And I've had these 13 years to witness thousands of individuals sign up and study them, children, elderly, celebrities, all people from all walks of life. And I've been trying to find and the assumption initially is about that, running is a difficult activity to pursue. It requires a lot of dedication. It requires a lot of commitment to practice, get up every day morning and run. And when you dedicate that and give it a higher purpose, that you're running for not just your fitness, but all your other aspects of your development and to a cause, it just elevates the entire dedication required to pursue and build that. So then there's a long history of fundraising and at marathons, and runners as a community seem to have a deeper spiritual connection with giving back. That was the short one. There are different aspects to it, but we can take that up later.
The word higher purpose struck a little chord. Then Gautam, you wanna throw a little light on that, and what gives you sort of the drive and higher purpose to do what you do, and of course be part of multiple marathons and yeah, tell us a little bit about your journey of fundraising, but running at the same time.
Arup, first of all, thank you for including me in this wonderful panel. Such a delight to share our stories. Also, such a delight to kind of open up thoughts of people who are listening, and probably this gets shared. Uh, the fundraising, the charity programs that we run is at a very nascent stage in India, and it's miles ahead in when you look at the international runs. To be specific on what motivated me to start engaging with the fundraising platforms itself was that, see, I've been running for about 15, probably 18 years now, and uh, over 150 medals that I have at home, which is hung on the wall. But
Wow.
after a point, these are the finisher medals. After a point, there needs to be really a reason to run. And this is a wonderful platform. So you're definitely giving back to the society. There is a responsibility that you carry with when you sign up for an event, fundraise, and go and run. It's not just the medal anymore. There is a deeper connection. There is a deeper reason for why you're running, and that's the main thing. And in fact, 2023 TCS 10K, I fundraised for Neonates Foundation of India, which helps the preterm children with the treatment, especially with their parents being underprivileged. There was definitely a reason and for me to run the race, and especially train and make sure every kilometer of it made sense and give it back. Incidentally, I was the highest fundraiser during that event, and this goes to show how generous people are. Many a times we kind of hesitate to go and ask, but we realize that only when we ask, they give. So people are there to give, but we have to go and ask, and that becomes a primary driver for our runs. And I mean now, because after 15 years, that is the real motivation for our runs.
No, it's truly something to be able to put yourself out there physically and mentally, and at the same time you're doing it really for something that's much larger than yourself,
Arup,
and yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but
No, no, no.
this
Of course,
just
this is
triggered a,
open forum.
so just taking on from what George and Gautam just said, right? And I just want to, bring in a personal thing. So during
Please
COVID,
do,
my
please do.
entire half marathon thing and everything got completely derailed. My fitness got completely derailed, right? And then when you want to come back, I was initially not able to, and then I thought that I'm going to quit running. And the TCS World 10K got announced, and a friend got in touch and said that, you've in the past raised funds for Bhumi, etc. And what are you doing this time? And I said, nothing, I'm not running. And she said, no, you just register, you raise funds, you just finish it as a walk, right? And that's what triggered the whole thing. And in the end, I did manage to get in some training, and hopefully I'll be running my first half marathon out of 4 years shortly. So I think it's about finding that goalpost, and sometimes there are different things which motivate you. And I think giving, and as Gautam rightly said, there are people out there who want to, and they motivate you, and it happens in different ways. So just wanted to add that bit.
No, that's excellent, and this is what we need, right? The personal stories from each of you coming out. Aarti, we haven't jumped to you, and again, Procam's been at the center, right? And of course, you've been with them for more than a couple of decades. Tell us a little bit about how you've seen marathons evolve, or how they've evolved in India, and what's the potential for future growth. I mean, there's I mean, as much as philanthropy and causes that have been supported over the years, there's so much more that we can still do. But tell us a little bit about your journey and how you see the potential for further growth.
Sure. Thanks, Arup. Um, I guess I've been one of the few fortunate people who have been at the start of the Mumbai Marathon. That time it started as a Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon. And right from the inception, we said let's put in certain pillars or objectives on the ground, and which we want to stand true to with every progression of events which we kind of conduct, and every event edition which we conduct. And philanthropy or charity has been one of the pillars. I guess in terms of, I mean, a lot of things will be spoken about philanthropy, but in just terms of growth of like two, three things I would like to cover over here. Just by the growth of marathons as such, or distance running, or you could probably put it into participative sport. I think what the Mumbai Marathon did in 2004 saw the birth of participative sport. India primarily has been a very spectatorial sport. We love our cricket, we love our football. We like to watch. Yes, we do play collegiate cricket. We play in our own little backyards. But here it is where you have every single athlete, every single person who's running on that day. With every single 55,000 people ran at 2023. Each and every person is an athlete over there, and the power of the marathons to actually it's an amalgamation of energy. It's an amalgamation of positivity which comes together on that day. And I would actually say that these marathons have been able to pull together the power of the collective to do good, not only in terms of social causes but also to probably change mindsets. Could it whether it is in terms of different causes, acceptability, inclusivity, in terms of environment. There's just so many gamuts which we can actually seed thoughts. We can seed good thoughts. We can seed through events like these, because it has the power of people coming together, and it just sails through. In terms of growth, Arup, over the years, I mean, when we started, there were hardly two events in India which were happening. And pre-pandemic, that is 2020, actually, we were fortunate to actually do the 2020 edition of the Tata Mumbai Marathon, and unfortunately, the lockdown started. But there were approximately 1,500 plus marathons or distance running events happening in the country. So in a matter of from 2004 to 2020, that has been the growth of distance running. That's the way people have adopted to running as a lifestyle, as a healthy lifestyle. Of course, the pandemic came. A lot of things kind of took a hold, but now I think everything is coming back together. And we will definitely see a much, much higher growth in 2024, where more events, more people will actually join this entire revolution. As you can see it, we don't say it's a running event. We say these are little mini revolutions or movements which are happening in this country.
Revolution, indeed. And you mentioned 2004. I was doing my bachelor's in Wilson College in Marine Drive at the time, and I remember it was such an inspiration. Just the beginning of it, and the way things have changed over the last two decades has been fantastic. George, I'm going to jump to you. Tell us. I mean, of course, you've had amazing experience with many causes. How do NGOs leverage an event like the marathon and to raise awareness and funds? And maybe tell us a story, if you may.
Thanks. Just before that, I just want to pick up on one word that Aarti had spoken, and it's actually the basis of the entire philanthropy pillar as well. That a marathon is a participative sport, right? It's not a spectator, and that percolates to almost all kinds of effects in the entire participation with the marathon, including the philanthropy part. Because the philanthropy, again, for everybody who's participating is not spectator, but it is participative. And for the TMM, from the very beginning, since the emphasis on the philanthropic giving has been so strong, it has evolved into a structure. And that structure, every year we design it, we build it, we learn from the previous years, and we create these avenues through which NGOs, individuals, companies can raise funds through the event. And for NGOs themselves, the TMM and the philanthropy platform is very important, because NGOs per se, by definition and atypically, all of them are resource crunched. And organizing an event of their own, having an audience of such magnitude, creating awareness for their causes is on an individual basis is very tough. But the platform is designed in a manner to create visibility, awareness for different kind of causes. And the philanthropic structure that we come up with is designed to make it simpler, easier, systematic, and give it a method to every aspect, which is typically otherwise very difficult. When Manisha spoke about fundraising, and Gautam as well, the intent of the platform is to make it easier for them to do that, to make it easier for them to reach out to the larger set of people for causes that matter to them, and give that voice a platform for the through the marathon. So over the years, typically for the TMM, we have around 300 NGOs that register. They represent all varieties of causes, from big complex ones like climate change to clearer, easier, tangible ones like, say, cataract operations for elderly. And there are many, many stories of transformative change, because philanthropy is one avenue which has a catalytic effect on social investment. So, for example, if I were to just take up the cataract operation, it costs around 150 rupees to restore eyesight to somebody. And the socio-economic impact of that in that person's life, in the person's family, livelihood over a lifetime, and it just costs 150 rupees, that intervention. And the ability to change lives of people or society and reduce the inequalities is what makes the platform fantastic. One more thing, apart from the participative nature, the TMM is also very democratic in its ability to give a platform for people of different athletic abilities. So you can run the dream run. Indeed, you can actually walk the dream run, or you can run the full marathon. So depending on there are various categories. You can even do it from home through a virtual run. So you can participate. It is open to everybody who. It doesn't discriminate on that front. Similarly, with the fundraising in the philanthropy part, it doesn't discriminate on whether you're a rich person or poor. If you have the capacity and capability to give back in whichever capacity at your own pace, the platform is supposed to create it and enable that for you. So
Yeah,
that's
I'd
been.
like to add over here also. I think the concept, George, where we used to earlier say, you need to be a high net worth individual to raise high funds. I think the entire this myth has kind of vanished over the years, because we've seen people with high network, people who have a great social network, even children. I mean, the kind of stories we have where kids have really, we've been probably, I think, we've seen so many young philanthropists, probably future leaders coming up and taking up this mantle of, social cause. And it's so heartwarming to see this, how kids, the way they are reacting to social causes and the environment around. And in a way, it kind of gives us a, little peek into the future, probably, and it's really good to have such stories coming out also.
No, and you're so right in mentioning. Gautam, you are going to say something.
Yeah, no. So just to add to George and Aarti, the previous fundraising that I did for Neonates Foundation of India, while I work in a hospital, I have seen cases where the preterm child baby is born at about 28th week, right, which is as small as a palm size. I mean, the baby is palm size, and the parents are from the rural setup. They don't have funds to even get the baby admitted to a hospital, leave alone to take care of the longer stay that is involved for treatment. For example, this baby which is born in 27th or 28th week will need at least a 3 or a 4 month care in the neonatal ICU, and the bill goes to about 20-30 lakhs. I mean, let alone the parents from a rural background. Even for somebody in the city, they will not be able to afford such a care. And here is an NGO like Neonates Foundation of India comes and says that don't worry about the child, we will fund, make sure the child reaches a specific hospital, and the child's life is actually saved. So, and an event like TCS 10K or a TMM plays a huge role, because without such platforms, there is no way an NGO like this would have reached out to the top of the echelon people who are willing to give if they ask. So this actually makes a huge difference. Just to draw parallels, I'll just take a minute more. Samir Aarti, correct me if I'm wrong, I read that Procam till date has raised about 490 to 500 crores through all the events. Just to give a perspective, London Marathon in the last 12 years has raised about 240 million sterling pounds. That equates to about 2,500 crores. So we have a long way to go from events in India. It's just that events like these, the talks like these, really spread the word and make the case much stronger for us to really help the causes.
Manisha, you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to, add to, and I picked up this word earlier that Aarti had said about, it being about not your net worth, but your network. And then what George also said and Aarti said about participative. And I think that's the whole power of this whole fundraising exercise, right? When you're doing a marathon. I think people who believe that what their small contribution may not make an individual impact, but when you're part of a cause, you feel that, you're part of a larger cohort of people who are out there trying to make an impact and trying to do something for society. And I think it becomes, I might be running it and I might be the one who's sort of the face of the fundraising for that cause. But it's really that whole group of people behind me, and they feel that they're equally involved in trying to make a difference. And I think that's what gets people to be part of this exercise.
No, amazing. Manisha, since I have you now, quick question from a corporate point of view. Yeah,
Hmm.
should there be an annual sort of marathon plan in terms of CSR kind of strategy? And if so, why do you think so?
So, Arup, I think there are two parts to this, right? I think one is the entire employee engagement thing. And I think that's great for all corporates like us to do
Hmm.
something like a marathon, and you build in the fitness aspect.
Right.
Then again, a lot of corporates also have their own fundraising, which they do. I think if we really need to take, sort of blend the two together, I think that we need organizations like, Procam and United Way really perhaps coming forward and organizing this, not just for the marquee events, but perhaps helping us organize this at a corporate level for our employees, which I don't see that happening. It started happening in pockets, but I think there's a great opportunity there, because let's say a company like mine, BNP Paribas, we are about 15,000 people in India. I think there's a great opportunity doing just something for BNP Paribas, right? And there are multiple corporates like this where you can sort of blend these two pieces together, and I think outcomes would be fantastic. Huh?
No, you're completely right, and there are many who are doing, and many who should also be in the mix. To all our listeners, feel free to throw questions in the comments on the event page. If you're not able to take them now in the audio event, you can tag the speaker and maybe get an answer on LinkedIn itself. Quick one to all our speakers. What advice would you give individuals or organizations looking to get involved in philanthropic endeavors through marathons, and you can go in any particular order, because we're already close to the end of this. But yeah, advice to individuals or organizations.
Can I go, Arup?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I was very skeptical when I started the first fundraise. I remember I was very scared to take a target of about 10,000 rupees. But the suggestion is to start small. Last fundraise, I ended up at about 10 lakhs. There are people to give. It takes about 7 tries. This is the very scientific.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it takes about 7 tries for somebody to really contribute to you. So not that they don't want to give, but they're filled with other thoughts. Try again till you succeed. So I used to devise a WhatsApp campaign for the last fundraise. So I used to take off people when they fundraised. I used to update about NGOs. I used to create a lot of interest about what the NGO is doing and how they can bring in a change. So for everybody who is planning to fundraise, including corporates, the first time could be testing the water. Start small, but you will realize very soon that you will reach somewhere which you've not thought. So, including the TCS 10K, I initially had a target of 5 lakhs. I was very skeptical. My wife said, yes, we can do it. 5 lakhs was breached in a month. So in the next month, I could get to about 10 lakhs. So people are there to give. Please have confidence. There are good people in the world who really will help. It is just that you need to go and ask, and it takes about 7 tries.
So to add to what Gautam said, in my experience, and here I'm putting on my marketing hat because I do that for a living as well. I think one is to be persistent, right? And then to constantly reiterate the message and the story. So for me, it was about tapping every bit of my network. Also, people who you think will perhaps not want to or may not be able to, but there are people who surprise you, right? People who you expected a small contribution in the end perhaps contributed more than the others whom I thought would make a larger one. But I think it's very, very important to be a little bit shameless, reach out, and drive home the impact story. I think that always works.
Gautam and Manisha is spot on. I've had the advantage of having thousands of successful fundraisers and learning from them, and there is a playbook which a lot of advices on first time fundraisers, second time, how to consistently create, make the ask a little more easier. There are a lot of recommendations on how to start, where to start, and ideally start with your closest in concentric circles before you go into the larger database that one has, and these knowledge, these wisdom, the experiences of all of them are available in playbooks for anybody who's trying to understand and figure out how to be part of the fundraising or the philanthropic part of an event. One other thing about marathons per se, that not all running events are amenable or ideal for fundraising. Just like you can run alone at home, but you run in a large event where there is a certain level of standards. There's a great spirit. There's well organized. Similarly, the philanthropic piece should also be very well organized to make it easy, convenient, because it's a big ask, and you don't want to be let down by the platform. So, understanding what is the structure available and the methods available is an important criteria that one must look at while deciding where to fundraise.
Amazing. Thanks for that. Aarti?
Yeah, a couple of points. One is, of course, which George had actually touched upon some time back, saying cause neutral. Okay. And from the very beginning, all our platforms, maybe Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, these are our 4 events, we've always been cause neutral. And what it actually does is 2 things. One is in terms of the non-profits or the social voluntary sector, which I would say the civil society organizations, and the other where people get involved in terms of volunteering or fundraising. A, when you say cause neutral, it actually gives a voice to many, many, many causes which probably may not get a platform to talk about their projects, and each one does their own bit. And I think the pandemic has taught us. I personally believe that having said whatever the government had done for the society, for India, and for the world in terms of pandemic, but I feel our society would have actually crumbled if the last mile, the civil society was not there. In spite of all the the hardships, they were there, standing tall, taking care of their communities, their respective communities. I think that is fantastic. So it gives a lot of opportunities for different causes to actually come to the fore and talk about themselves. Um, that is one part. The other part is also in terms of donors and fundraisers and every individual. I honestly feel, CSR, yes, it pertains to corporates, but I think I would coin that C into a little differently. I would say citizen social responsibility. I think every Indian, every human being has got a social responsibility to do something within its community around them. And I think marathons make them very, very easy for them because you can choose your cause, you can choose your, what you wish to stand for, what you wish to raise funds for. You can see the impact of the funds raised. You can see the impact of your involvement. And what happens is everybody gets involved, either whether you're fundraising, whether it is someone who you're donating to, because ultimately you will donate for what that fundraiser believes in, and you are in what they call in the process of doing this, you are actually building many many champions of the causes. And I honestly feel it's a perfect blend of both the worlds. And yeah, I mean that's how I see it. And I think it's there, the platforms are there, and I think everybody should use them because it's easy, it's not that difficult, and but it's a great fun way, a sporting way of people getting involved in something so basic as doing good.
Citizen social responsibility. I love that. Manisha, Gautam, George, Aarti, thank you so much for the time you've taken this evening. Uh, to everyone listening in, thank you for staying on till the end. Feel free to throw questions, comments, reactions. We're happy to take them post this audio session that's been brought to you by Sportskeeda, Business of Sport, and sportscourses.com. It's been a wonderful time, and really appreciate all the knowledge, all the stories, and everything that we've taken away this evening. I'm keeping it open for the next 2 minutes if anybody has anything else to add. Else, thank you so much.
So, Arup, just an icing on the cake. As we were on this call, I got an acceptance from one of the NGOs from Boston saying that they've given me a place for Boston 2024. And this talk is very lucky.
Coincidence, or you think it's like you're calling in? It's
It's
power of
divine
attraction.
intervention, Gautam. It's a divine intervention.
Amazing, amazing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.